The next step in the template editing process is to add a logo to your project. And I'm doing a separate video on this because logos behave differently than, let's say, an image file. Logos are what are called vector-based graphics, and there are certain things that you need to keep in mind when you import them, when you scale them up, and when you deal with backgrounds that might be transparent or opaque. So I'm going to show you all those things in this lesson. Let's start off by importing a vector-based logo graphic. You do that by going to File, Import, the same way we've done it before, File. Now I have a sample file that I want to show you that I've not provided for you. I just want to show this to you because it's different than the one we've provided for you. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and there's this Adobe Illustrator file, which I call the layered vector file. Most logo files are built inside Adobe Illustrator, and most of them have layers, just like After Effects has layers. So when you import them, they behave differently than when you import, let's say, an image file. So let me show you what I mean. If I click on this, I have these options down here, Import As. If I click the drop-down list, you see the 3 different options. But this is really irrelevant because you're going to see this again in just a moment. So you import it the same way, either double-click on it or select it and go Import. And now you get a dialog box. This happens whenever you import a layered vector file. You get this dialog box that says, how do you want to import this? We recommend that you import it as footage as opposed to a composition. A composition brings in all the layers separately and creates a composition with those layers inside it. For our purposes, we just want to bring it in as footage where all the layers are merged together. So let me show you how that works. You go to Import Kind and you change this to footage. And you merge the layers as opposed to choosing an individual layer. And click OK. And that brings it in as just this asset like that. And you can see that this is just a bunch of little snowflakes. And that is the way we typically have you do it. But let me show you what happens if you choose a different method. I'm going to delete this. Click on that, press delete. Let's try a different way. File, Import, File. Double click on this. I get the dialog box. I'm going to change this to Composition. And I'm going to choose document size. I can choose layer size, but I'm going to choose document size and click OK. And that creates a composition right there and puts all the layers in this folder. There are 6 layers, and there's the composition. If I double click on that, we open the composition, and there are those 6 layers. I can treat them individually, move them around individually, things like that. But for our purposes, we want to have them come in as just footage, as one object. So I'm going to undo this now. Alright, so now that I've explained that, I want you to bring in the file that we provided for you. So go again to File, Import, File. Track down that file by going to Included Files, Footage, and there's this Adobe Illustrator file which we call Logo. If I double click on it, it will bring it in without that intervening dialog box because it's just one layer. Double click on it, there we go. Now this file has a couple of characteristics that will become apparent in just a moment. I want to start off by replacing the placeholder with this logo file. So to do that, I go up here to Edit Your Logo here, number 4. Double click on this comp. So I want to replace this placeholder with our logo. So I make it active by clicking on it. Drag our logo down to it. Press down the Alt or the Option key, and that'll replace it. And there's our logo. Now we have a transparent background here. So our logo has a transparent background. You can see that it's transparent. Most logo files have a transparent background like this. This is what you want. If you have a bitmap image, though, it probably has an opaque background. And I'm going to show you how to remove an opaque background in a separate video. Let's get back to this one, though. Right now we want to scale it up. And what happens when you scale things up? They typically get kind of jagged around the edges and they get a little fuzzy looking. Not the case with a vector-based graphic. Vector-based graphics are mathematically defined. When you scale them up, the mathematics recalculates how they look and they retain their sharpness and clarity. I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to take the view up to about 200% here so we can get a really close look at it. There we go. I want to expand this guy so it fills inside these guidelines here, which shows you the size that we want it to go to. We don't want it to go beyond the edge of those little borders there. So I want to scale it up. So I press S to open up the scale, and I start scaling it up. All right, let's get to the full size there, right about there. And if you look at that, you're going to say, that doesn't look that sharp. It's kind of fuzzy looking. That's because we need to tell After Effects that we have a vector-based image file here. We do that down here in the layer. There's this little sort of star sun thing there, and a checkbox below it. When we turn on the checkbox, we tell it this is a vector-based graphic, so you scale it up properly. I click that and watch what happens. Suddenly, it's sharply defined. If I scale it up a little bit more, you're going to see what I mean. I scale it more and more and more. It retains the sharpness. Not bad, right? I'll get it back to the right size by doing Control or Command Z. And now we're done. Let's take a look at this thing out in the main comp. Click on that. And there it is. It looks pretty sharp right now, but we're looking at a half resolution. Let's go to full resolution here, and it'll look even sharper. So that is the great advantage of working with vector-based graphics. You can scale them up and they retain their clarity.